Well, I love the idea of work in any way you look at it. And because work is so engaging, especially if you can find, we often don't have time. If you're at your peak earnings years and you're going full steam at your employer, you may not have that time to do the side hustle. But if there is a possibility that there's something, and I'm thinking, I always encourage people to think of work as part of your retirement plan in some fashion. And so it may not be for the entirety, obviously, of your retirement phase of life, but for the first bunch of years, if you can keep having income coming in the door, you stave off dipping into those retirement accounts, you perhaps adding to those accounts, pushing back Social Security till age 70 when you get the biggest bang for your buck, so to speak. Um, and so this is a time to start thinking about what kinds of work you might want to do when you step away from the primary working career. And so I like to encourage people to start 5 years ahead of time. If there's something you think you passed up at a younger age that you always wanted to do, or a hobby or a passion you have, this is the time that you can start learning about it, reaching out and doing those informational interviews with people. And yes, if you can start doing a little side gig, just try it out on the side. You find out whether it's as dreamy as you think it's going to be.
Hmm.
And it might be time to start adding the skills that would help you make that transition to working in a different fashion when you step away from your primary career. But it's honestly, back to your original point about a side hustle, of course, it's always good to have an extra bit of income, but you have to be super careful not to interfere with your primary career.
Right. Well, and like we were just talking about, sandwich generation, who has time for that? I mean, you're raising kids. If you're caring for aging parents, you already have a full-time job. A side hustle sounds great, but maybe that's not in the cards either.
Yeah. But if you can, but again, if you want to be doing that prep work for the next stage, you can find ways that you can volunteer, you can moonlight, you can job. There are ways to learn about potential work opportunities and adding skills that aren't going to take away from your primary career right now, but they will set you up for continuing to earn in some fashion later on in your early stages of retirement.
Hmm. Jana, do you have anything to add to that? I saw you nodding.
Well, I mean, it's really interesting that Carrie talks about this because um, I went through a layoff earlier this year and found myself in a position where I was like, what do I do next? And how do I get back into the job market? And I have this really great opportunity now that I'm doing, and I'm learning more about podcasting. Right, and that's increasing my skills as a journalist, and just, as anybody who makes content, so that can help me going forward when I maybe start thinking about, okay, maybe I'm going to step away from the big earning primary job and do that step down retirement. And now I have this other skill set that I can also lean on. So
Yeah.
always like learning, and I think that's harder when you get a little bit older. um I know how many times I'm like, oh gosh, I remember how it used to be and I really wish I could go back to it in the workplace, and that's just not going to help. So I have, all these people who know very much about journalism when it comes to podcasting, and I'm learning so much. It's been exhausting but thrilling.